in school, it's not just homework that your child has to worry about. For many, they have to steer clear of bullies. Do you know what you would do if your child came home to tell you that they've been bullied? Well, one Valley mother decided to fight back. She started a nonprofit dedicated to providing educational tools and resources for bullying prevention. Tamesia Curry is the founder of I Will Not Bully and is here with more. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's such an important topic, continues to be an important topic. Let's talk about why you started the organization.
Well, Destry, I started I Will Not Bully Incorporated after my own child was bullied at school. And she came home and she used 9 words that changed my life forever as a parent. She said, "I wish I would have never gone to school today." And really, it was one of the most shocking assertions coming from a child who wakes up every day excited to learn. But then, you know, I began to cross paths with other children who had experienced the same. And so, you know, truly at that point, I realized that I didn't want to leave any child behind without them having proper quality educational tools to learn how to resolve their conflict.
And you say conflict resolution, very important.
It's extremely important. Listen, bullying really at the core is an issue of conflict. It's all about conflict. Where there's conflict, you need to have resolution. But before you actually can ever even get to resolution, you must have a strategy, okay? And so with the 9 Creed, it's a perfect baseline tool to help you get there.
You have it right up here. We can see it, the 9 Creed. Tell us what it is.
Well, the 9 Creed are 9 virtues that we've branded within our organization, and they are the fundamentals to help you address conflict and then resolve it, but then ultimately repair the relationship. The fundamentals consist of integrity, forgiveness, compassion, completeness, tolerance, selflessness, leadership, unity, and generosity. Those are the 9 virtues to beat bullying.
It's interesting because when I think of bullying, the first things I think of are not forgiveness, compassion, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Of those things. So
yes.
How is that teaching them to stop the bullying?
Well, it is because integrity, for instance, you have to start with being honest. If you're not honest about how you feel about being bullied, and if the bully is not honest about doing the bullying, then you can't even move on to the next step. So it all starts with being honest about how we feel and what's taking place, because essentially, bullies don't just wake up in the morning and say, you know, hey, I just want to go out and bully. They have deep, you know, rooted issues going on inside of them, and we have to get to the heart of the matter. That's what's important.
That is true. I mean, I always think that. I have a teacher who always says, you know, there's something else going on too.
Absolutely.
So keep that in mind. How do you recognize if your child's being bullied, if they're not talking to you about it?
Well, if your child is being bullied, typically you can look for increased sadness when it's time to go to school, and you'll see much the same when you pick them up. And sometimes children will even fake illnesses. They're not really sick, and you don't see any verifiable symptoms there, but they just don't want to go to school. And then for the child, say, that's doing the bullying, you want to look for increased acts of aggression. These are your uncontrollable outbursts and mood swings, and if they're compounding, then that's a problem. We're not talking about just a one-time thing here. But the single most important advice that I give to parents or to anyone is to get to know your child. Because if you don't know who your child is, then you're not going to know when they change. You want to be able to see when their mind and their mood and their emotions begin to change. And then you can say, hey, wait a minute, now it's time to investigate to find out where the problem lies.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. You have a lot of resources for parents, and all you have to do to find those resources, which will help you, is go to iwillnotbully.org, and you can find out a lot more there. All right.